To those of you joining us today, thank you for watching the Woburn Spotlight. I'm your host, Tyler Gates, here to bring you some positivity by talking to those in town making big strides for the greater good. Today I'm fortunate to have with me Susan Hartmere from the Woburn Rotary Club. Susan, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So just letting everyone else know what we're going to be talking about today. You go on mission trips or humanitarian trips.
Correct.
Each year, or quite a few years now.
Right. 10 total I've been.
10 total. So we're going to dive into those a little bit.
Sure.
Hear about your experiences. And just talk about some of the good that you're seeing over there.
Thank you. All right, that sounds good. I could do that.
I think you can. I've seen some of the photos. They're fantastic. So I'm excited to kind of go through them and hear what you have to say and the stories that go behind them.
Okay, these particular pictures will be my pictures from this year, which was
this year,
was Honduras.
Okay.
I have tales I can tell from other places I've been.
Okay. Well, before we get too ahead of ourselves, do you mind just letting our viewers know a little bit about you and what makes you what makes you Susan?
That's a good question. I just accept myself every day, and I don't think of what makes me me. But I'm involved in the city of Woburn. I've lived here all my life, except for a short stint teaching in San Francisco, obviously California, and I'm a former high school English teacher here, grades 10 and 11. I'm past president of, now I sound like I'm bragging.
No, please tell me. I saw you have quite the list. You've been very involved, and that's not bragging at all. You've done a lot of good.
Well,
so I know it's the Boys and Girls Club. You were past president.
Yes.
You were past president of Rotary.
Correct.
Where you've received multiple Paul Harris awards.
Thank you. Yes.
What's the other one? Woburn Business Association, past president.
Yes.
If I'm remembering correctly. What do I have off the list? I know you're something else. Board of director for the hospital.
Yes.
You're going to have to help me out. I can only do so
much.
No,
that's about it. I think what I enjoy most of what I do now is volunteer at the food pantry every Thursday afternoon. That's, oh my goodness.
And that's right here in Woburn?
Yes.
Okay, is that?
It's a social concern.
Okay.
And one of our Rotarians, Mary Lang, she's great.
Okay, so you were involved as well with the birthday bags this last year. And just kind of going off topic, how was that?
It was interesting. We all brought in items like cake, frosting, party hats, balloons, and we filled as many bags as we had items, and they were given to the social concern to give out when a child had a birthday.
That's exciting.
Right. It was a nice project that we had.
That's good. So that's where you stay involved now. Every Thursday you do that. That's awesome. What else are you doing in the town right now? I know you're busy with Rotary, President-elect 2018-2019.
Yeah, stint number 2.
Stint number 2, yeah. Not slowing down anytime soon.
No. So, you know, I just keep busy. I have 3 grandchildren in North Carolina. I go down to visit them relatively. What's the word I'm looking for? Frequently, thank you.
I don't know. That's
you know what I was doing was I was thinking how it's a short time to go there, an hour and 44 minutes, or not an hour and 45 minutes, and I'm on the ground in Raleigh.
That's simple. That's nice. So you get to see them once in a while.
Oh, they're great.
They come up this way when they can.
In the summer, they used to come in the winter, but it's hard.
That's what my sister does. She's down in North Carolina, and she comes up. Actually, she's going to be coming up.
You can't. You don't know the weather in the winter, and there's 3 of them, and they're all in the back seat, and all with the straps on them, and they can't even breathe.
Yeah. So your grandchildren are younger?
4, 6, and 8.
4, 6, and 8.
Yes.
Busy.
Yes.
Busy.
And the 8-year-old last time asked me, Nana, how come you say car? And I said,
we don't have to explain that to the people here in New England. No, that's too funny. Well, good. Well, thanks for sharing a little bit about you.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Is that bragging? No,
well,
no means. No. And I know you mentioned to me really the big mission that you have when you take these trips, or especially the last trip, was to help the Honduras or people in the mountains with their sanitation and water. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. You mind just elaborating on kind of that mission?
Not at all. It'll come up in the pictures. Okay. It was a case where we were in the, oh my goodness, that is, I'm such a water drinker, and that was all the water we had for the whole time we were there. And it was hot because it was sunny. I'm showing that because when I'm out of water, I just want to cry.
Yeah.
But
That's
anyhow.
all you had, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And how long was the trip?
We were there 12 days.
And how many people on your team this time?
12, actually.
Okay.
12, yep.
12 and 12, and that's what you had.
Mm-hmm. So we rationed it.
Certainly.
So I'm very happy to have this cup of cold water.
I don't know what I would do. I drink more water than I can
Yes.
even imagine. It's just something we take for granted. That's unbelievable. Wow. So,
This is a very interesting picture.
yes, please explain.
It's one of the most interesting pictures to me because we were on a ledge walking in, and out of the 12 of us, there were 7 men and 5 women, and we were carrying tarps and not shovels, but things that we were going to need with the work that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman was sweeping dirt, which surprised me, but the women here cook and keep everything clean, and the men are laborers. So when she saw us coming in, out of the 12, 7 were men and 5 were women, she could not believe, I got this through a translator, that we were going to be laborers, the 5 women.
Just a culture shock for her.
Oh, she stopped what she was doing and just stared, and so, and obviously the poor thing has no teeth, and you know, we were high and up in the mountain, so they,
Okay.
you know, I don't know what kind of help they get.
Did it take you, what was the travel time like between leaving here in the United States, arriving, even your travel up into the mountains?
I honestly don't remember how long the plane trip took, because there's my buddy.
There's your buddy.
Yeah.
Yes. She was
Trip up
here.
into the mountains was a couple of hours
Okay.
from the capital. But this woman, I appealed to everyone that I knew to give me old glasses, the strength of which they no longer used. And
Okay.
when I would give them, and I obviously picked out the elderly, oh, it was a lot of them were 1.25 or 1.50, and they were just smiling and smiling and smiling because it was the shock that they could see, you know, and then it was very fulfilling to do that. So I'm going to do that again.
That's something you're doing again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that something that you might be able to reach out to people here in
Yes.
Woburn and say, this is what I need for
Absolutely.
my next trip?
Gentlemen, I give out these happy smiley stickers, and I put one on him. He thought it was great. He's 97 years old, and all he did all day long was sit there and watch, just look around. And he had 3 children who were, of course, grandparents now, and then all the way down to, I think, 4 or 5 young children that I said to one of the translators, you know what I want to do is I want to, when I go home, purchase some Spanish books for young children.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, don't, they can't read.
Really?
I thought, oh my goodness.
That's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. But anyway, he heard, I'll just comment, he heard a chicken like walk, walking and he went and shooted away, and under the chicken were 2 eggs. He picked them up, and that was going to be breakfast. It's like cool.
That's too funny.
Yes.
That's too funny.
That's in the city, and it's almost every time I went to a country in Central America or South America, they are guarding mom and pop stores. They're guarding banks, of course, and supermarkets. In the beginning, it was very disconcerting for me to see that, but then I got kind of used to it. I felt a little shy asking him if I could take his picture, but he said yes.
Okay.
So here he is.
So you see that frequently at storefronts?
Yes.
Most
Yes.
storefronts?
And at one mom and pop store, the Pepsi truck pulled up, and a guard got out with the rifle, and then they took the Pepsi off the truck and brought it into the store. I couldn't figure that out, because who wants to steal Pepsi? But it's that they have cash there, so.
I'm sure they'd probably be pretty happy to steal some Pepsi.
I
on
know.
Some certain days,
I know.
especially with water being scarce,
Mhm.
up in the mountains.
That I took, obviously it's blurry, but it's how people live, and they took it in a moving car, so you have to kind of excuse that one.
I'm impressed you just got the building.
I know, I could see it coming.
Yeah. So that's a pretty typical house.
Hmm.
Pretty
Yeah, they're very poor. This is hysterical because I got lost so many times. They finally bought me a whistle.
You have that issue here in Woburn even.
I do. How do you know that?
The Halloween parade last year.
Oh, oh my
got
goodness,
fined
I
every
did get
dollar.
lost. Yes. Oh, you did. That's right. But
Excuse me.
I actually went to an outhouse up the mountain and came down and had the choice to go left or right, and I went right and it was wrong. So every time I don't have any sense of direction, so I thought that was a great picture that I still have the whistle.
That's a really good story.
That's the way they travel. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
We brought, obviously, small stuffed animals with us, and that was a school, and we gave out the stuffed animals, and there was a young girl in the front that she took the stuffed animal and went like this and put it under her leg, and I said to one of my team members, I said, "Isn't that funny?" She said she's hiding it so she can get another one.
Really?
Yeah.
She's clever.
Yeah, clever. Clever, but oh, they're beautiful children.
Did you get to visit a couple of school classrooms or just that one?
We did, but in cases like that, it's so quick, we can't even, we give out the animals and leave because this is our main.
This is the main goal.
That's the beginning of the climb of the mountain. I should frame that. I'm not a climber, and I'm not a mountain goat, and once I got up to where you see there, you took a right and up and up and up and up. I thought I was going to just faint. So, and then when we finished one job, we'd go further up the mountain and start another one. We did four villages.
Okay, that was my next
This
question.
is the primitive. They mix cement on the floor.
Yeah.
He looks happy doing it.
He does. And what would the cement be typically used for?
Taking those cinder blocks and keeping them together.
Okay.
Yes, you'll see. And these cinder blocks were brought in by truck at the base of the mountain and taken off one by one because there's no automated anything. And then these laborers would walk up the mountain with cinder blocks on their shoulders all day long. Ooh.
That's incredible.
Yeah, obviously I didn't do it.
No, but just to think about that, the manpower that it takes to do a job that we can do in an afternoon at times.
Yes.
And
there's
my
more stickers.
The smiley faces.
Thank you.
Great. They look like they're having a riot.
Yes, this is she was my new best friend. Amiga, yes. She was so shy and she really kind of hung around me, and I gave her, which was a huge mistake, she had 4 brothers and they were in school, and I gave her 4 Hershey Kisses for her brothers and 1 for her. She put them in her pocket. I'll never bring them again. No. But she brought them out to give her brothers, and they were mush. Yeah. Yes. But it didn't bother them. It was chocolate.
No, I bet they were still happy to rip it apart and get what they could.
That I don't know what I would have done without. It's obviously a portable charger because there's no electricity in this village and no running water. So I was fortunate enough to charge that up at night, and other people were able to use it too because it's a good one.
Okay, so that must have been pretty useful for you.
Right, I was very popular with that.
Okay, all right.
That's me working diligently on mixing cement, and I had to laugh when I saw that picture because I have the gloves on backwards. The orange blogs on the palms of my hands, so obviously, see, there I am again.
Oh, God.
What I'm doing there is someone on the other side is pushing the cement through, and I, with that gizmo there, is making sure it doesn't come out.
Okay, so this is when you're talking the cement right there, and they're making a restroom, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Better view of it right here.
Yes, that was our favorite because that only had 3 walls, because the 4th wall was obviously the wall of the house, and a couple we did were freestanding, and this really went quickly. But those are the cinder blocks, yes, and that is replacing an outhouse. There's the outhouse with a tarp around it.
How long did it take for each?
It took about
building.
It took about, because there were 5 of us working on one. And it took about half a day.
Okay.
This is, I could not get over once we were done. But that was the toilet they put in. I thought I would die. There's no flush. And the way that operates is you have a bucket of water, and obviously here you could do the same thing. Pour the bucket of water and the water goes down. So that's their new toilet.
Okay.
I was disappointed. I thought it was going to be like ours.
But compared to what it was it dramatically different?
Oh yes, the other was a hole in the wall, ground.
Oh,
yes,
sure,
so
very
yes,
different.
yes.
So going from one extreme to the other, though, all said and done, it
Yes.
was a great
A big
project
step
for
up.
them. It's a huge step up.
And each village had one. So that was.
Okay.
Now this corn intrigued me. I didn't know what they grow this corn. The corn itself gets the kernels get taken off the cob. That's the next picture, I think. They are going like this, and the corn's coming off the cob. And the next picture shows all of the corn cobs devoid of the kernels, and those cobs get put out in the sun and dried, and they're fuel. Okay. Fuel for the fire. The woman, I actually helped a woman wash her clothes and fold her clothes. It was kind of funny because when I folded the clothes and put them in a pile, she took every one that I folded and folded them her way. And I thought, okay, you know, it was humorous. Yeah. That is their corn that you saw spread out. Corn. Yes, in the sun to dry. And she just came with her bucket of corn. We walked about a half a mile here, and she threw it in that pile and then went over to another section and got dried corn, the same amount as she had thrown. And then the next picture shows the corn being ground into mush in the bottom. Okay. And that procedure cost her 3 cents. So she had enough mush, corn mush, I can't think of anything else to call it, that she would make tortillas with to last her the day, and then it started again. This is me. It was one of the funniest experiences I've ever had. Making tortillas? This is how they make tortillas. Like that. And when they're done, it's completely round. I think they must curve their fingers. Beyond me. I started, and it stuck to my palm, so I knew I couldn't do that, but that's me still trying, and it's still stuck, and then that's the shape. There's a perfectly round, and that's as best I could do. And this one and that one is mine, and the others are... You can't even tell the difference. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. They saved that. That was my best one. Okay. And everyone that came into the village, they'd point to it and laugh, and then point at me that I made that. And that is someone showing that it's supposed to be thin, and mine was fat. I'm on the left there. Okay. So. What an interesting experience. Oh, making tortillas. Making tortillas. Yeah, you never get, this is, as you can see, the striations on that cement slab, that's how she washes the clothes back and forth. Is this your clothes folding partner? Yes, that's my partner. That's fantastic. Yes. So she has a big smile on that. Oh, she's sweet. She was sweet. And that's me. It was my turn to do the clothes. And you take a bucket of water and throw it on the clothes, turn it over, and rinse it that way. And like I said, there's no running water there, but that comes down from the mountain. Is that? It's a do you use the bucket so there's no cross contamination? As far as so you have a bucket and you have the soapy clothes on one side. You're not just going to go ahead and dunk the soapy clothes. Correct. It would be so fast if you could do that, but it's okay. So what you're doing is you're using the water as essentially kind of a filtration. Yes. And then she just squeezes it and then hangs it up on a string. I mean, obviously not a string, a rope. Yep. So okay, that's really interesting. That I encounter here and there is you look and you can't identify the food. It turned out to be chicken. However, you know, in India the same thing. I took the top off a pot and I had no idea what it was. So that was my picture, just showing that you ate it because you were hungry, and it turned out to be pretty good chicken. I just don't. I'm used to boneless chicken breasts. That's fair. So, and this woman, she sent her daughter down probably about 2 miles to purchase those 2 potatoes and tomatoes and some onions, and she made our lunch. And I don't think you can see it in that picture, but she peeled those potatoes with a knife that was this long without getting a lot of the potato. The skin's coming off and going, oh, I don't believe she could do that.
They've mastered.
Oh, one knife. And I think of how many knives I have in my kitchen. A knife for this, a knife for that, you know, and that was her only knife. And the next picture shows someone thought to go into the city and buy them a peeler. They probably go back to their knife once we leave.
Probably.
You know.
That's what they're accustomed to.
Yes.
Yeah. What we find easier may not may not be easier for them.
And that's their stove. As you can see, they shove the logs in, and as they burn, they keep pushing.
Is that where the tortillas were made as well?
Yeah, in this village, yes.
This village? Okay. I thought I saw a picture that looks similar to that.
Right.
So they're just feeding that for
that
lunchtime,
and the
supper
corn,
time,
the corn cobs. All day long
all
it goes.
Day, okay, so they stock that fire all day long.
Until at night they let it go out.
Okay. Interesting. And what's on the docket for dinner that night? What were there in the pots? Do you remember?
Oh my goodness! If I saw another tortilla, I am not kidding.
Really?
And they are just corn and some flour. I wanted peanut butter so much, and there's no salt in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we didn't stay for dinner, so I'm not really sure. Probably tortillas.
Probably.
But that's another village, and they're obviously
a little bit different.
Yes. And these
cooking?
are just metal plates that they cook on. There's my grandfather back there.
He's just checking and everything out.
That's right. That I thought I would die. That was it wasn't one of the villages we worked in, but it was we visited somewhere, and they treated us to lunch. And I like fish, but I had to figure out that you just took a fork and tried to, you got these little pieces of fish, and I think that it was smiling was the part that bothered me the most.
That's very interesting.
Right. This is not Honduras, it is Guyana. I put this picture in at the end because it's my favorite picture in the whole world. This young man had Down syndrome, and he became my buddy, and he was enthralled. His name was Charles. Enthralled with my camera and the pictures. And the next picture is my last picture, but it shows how he just took to it, and I couldn't get my camera back.
Really?
Yeah. So he was.
Do you remember where this one was taken?
In Guyana.
In Guyana.
Yes, at a school. But he was older. I think he was 18, and they kind of let him come out and hang around us. So.
That's interesting. Wow, so that's all some powerful stuff. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
You've done a lot of trips though, right? So this was a fantastic one, absolutely, in your most recent one. You've gone to Ghana, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Bolivia. What is that? Australia, Tasmania, India. Any of them leaving off the list?
No, it doesn't matter. They all blur after a while. But I did bring something that I love show and tell.
Yes.
And I brought these because this I don't know what I would do if I didn't. Do I go this way to see it?
Right in the middle.
It's Jif to go, and I think Skippy does it too. That and these little saltine crackers. This is the biggest hit. It's one of those sponges that if you put water on it, it goes that high, this sponge. The kids go crazy. And you know what I do is I cut them in half to make them last longer. And then I also give the children these, I won't put it on but they're finger lights, and they're just not a novelty.
Okay.
And that's my show and tell.
That's pretty cool stuff.
And in India, I just wanted to mention, God love my father, he collected pocket knives. And in India, everything was primitive. And at the very end, he had 18 pocket knives, and I gave them to the laborers who made $2 a day, and the women made $1 a day. And they were ecstatic because they would open up bags of cement with a hole, and hack at it with a hoe, and I gave them these, wow.
That must have been powerful.
Yes, it was. I thought if my father ever knew his, he would have loved it, that his knives ended up in India.
You've been so many places. Is there, I'm sure there's many distinctions between the places you visited, the places you visited here in the United States. Is there anything that really jumps out at you on some of those differences?
I don't know. I just would like to mention the biggest lesson I ever learned in my whole life.
Yes, please.
First of all, backing up a little bit, when I went to Bolivia, it was for a cleft palate mission. I was allowed in the operating room. It was things like that. There's no OSHA, like there's, wow, people hang off trains in India because it's so crowded. You know, there's over 300 million people in the United States, and there's 3 billion people in India. They're so crowded, it's incredible. But anyway, in Bolivia, one of the doctors caught up with me and he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, "You have to learn to detach." And I thought, ooh, okay. And I really took that to heart and I thought, how am I going to do that? Because it's not my nature. But little by little, as I went different places, I thought, I can't save the world. And I would have water and children begging, not begging, but would come up and go like this. And I didn't have, there's 7 children, and I thought, I can't, you know, because the first one's going to drink it all. And the biggest lesson I ever learned in my life is I can only just take so much. In India, the tsunami killed, I don't know the figure, but we went and built the foundation of an orphanage. And we visited orphanages like this. And the second orphanage I went to, we went in and the little children sang "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star" to us. They had memorized it. I burst out crying. I thought, you know, tugs at your heartstrings, you know. But the biggest lesson I ever learned was in India, I asked a young boy, through a translator, if I sent you to school to learn English, would you like that? Smile. I bought him books. I enrolled him. And I got home, and about a month later, I contacted my contact there, and I said, if he completed 1, I will send him to 2. And he came back after a week. He finally found him. He said he never went. And I thought, see, another thing I learned was I was putting my values on him, and he was happy without them. You know. That's
powerful, though, when you see that and you realize that.
Yeah, I never forgot it. Teaches you lessons here and there, but I can't save the world, so.
Yeah. Well, that is powerful. You have another trip to come?
Next year is supposedly Colombia.
Okay. Supposedly?
Did I say B?
No, supposedly. Oh. No, excuse me. I pronounced it wrong. Supposedly, yeah, no. So is it tentative or?
Well, what our leader does is he's a Rotarian, and you know, on the trip there are half and half Rotarians and half friends of ours, and he contacts different countries, and when they respond or they don't respond, he narrows it down, and eventually someone will come up with a project saying, we'd love to have you come and paint this school and build handicap ramps and do things like that.
Okay, so you'll find out more in the months to come.
Yes, I will.
Okay, and so how people can help out? I know this is a trip that is really kind of already filled. There's usually a pretty select amount of people that go to this. So if people out there want to get involved or learn more about your ventures, lend a helping hand. I know you mentioned the glasses being a very critical thing. Should they reach out to you or the Woburn Rotary to see about how they can make a contribution or learn more about it?
They could contact me through Rotary. Anybody that's in the Woburn Rotary hopefully knows me, and I'd be glad to fill them in on any of the trips I've taken and how they might help.
Okay.
Because it's excellent because you leave your mark when you go places, and you bring, when people help you, you bring a part of them with you and leave their mark too.
Excellent. That's a nice message. We're about out of time. Do you have anything you'd like to share in closing about some of your trips or anything?
No, I will say, just as a joke at the end, you dream of pizza and cheeseburgers when you're gone.
I think that's pretty fair. That's a fair dream to have. Well, thank you so much.
But thank you so much for having me on,
My
Tyler.
pleasure, Susan.
Okay.
It's always a pleasure to hear about your trips, and hopefully the Columbia 2018 will be a good venture
Okay,
for
thank you. Thank you so much.
So thank you for watching today's show with Susan Hartmere. Remember, we all have one life to live. Let's all do our part. I'm your host, Tyler Gates. Join us next time for another episode of the Woburn Spotlight.